Hi everybody, this is Crystal. Today I'm going to show you how to make this women's shell stitch summer hat. And you can make the brim, and you can adjust the size of the brim and make it longer or shorter. I don't know, I got a picture of it in the beginning, so if you want it longer or shorter than that, you can always make it however you want. It's entirely made of the shell stitch, so it's not hard actually. It's pretty easy, and you can always put a flower or something on it if you'd like. I think on my mannequin it actually kind of looks like one of them like 1920 styles hats, kind of. But I think it turned out pretty good. So let's go ahead and get started on that. I'm actually using Peaches and Cream. I got a cone of it. This is 100% cotton. That's what I'm using. Since it's summer, cotton would be a lot cooler. You can make it in acrylic, but I probably recommend cotton for it being a summer hat, but acrylic works too. As long as it's a medium 4-ply acrylic, it will work just fine. This is this regular yellow that I'm using. I had this big cone, so I don't know exactly how many yards. Don't hold me to it, but I'm going to guess it's probably a little over 200 probably. So if you get these small skeins, you're probably going to need 2 of them. But don't hold me to that. I hope that's right, because I had this big cone and I'm not sure how much of it took. It might, I don't know, you might need 3, but. And then I'm going to be using a size J, which is a 6mm crochet hook. Okay, and we're going to start off with a slip knot on our hook, and we're going to work a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're going to slip stitch into the first stitch to form a ring. And if you are good at the magic circle, you can use that. I'm no good at it, so I never use it. Okay, now we're going to start off with a chain of 1. Now that chain of 1 doesn't count as anything. So we're going to go back through the center of the ring and we're going to do 1 single crochet like that. And now I'm going to work a shell, and a shell consists of 5 double crochets. So I'm just going to go ahead and work 5 double crochets through the center of the ring. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's our first shell, and you want to keep sliding it over as you go. And now I'm going to do a single crochet through the center, and we want to have a total of 4 shells. So now I'm going to work another shell, so I'm going to work 5 double crochets again. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, my tail's getting in the way, and 5. So that is my second shell. I'm going to slide it over, and then I'm going to put a single crochet, and now I'm going to work another shell right through the center of the ring. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's 3 shells. Slide it over. You want to single crochet again into the center of the ring, and now we're going to work 1 last shell, so 5 more double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're going to end with a slip stitch into our first single crochet that we did. Not the chain 1 that we made, but the very first single crochet. You just slip stitch right into it, and you'll have 4 of these shells at the end of round 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch over to the middle of this first shell. So it's the third stitch in the shell. So we're going to slip stitch 1, 2, and 3 times, and you'll be in the middle stitch of the first shell. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and we're going to go right back into that same stitch and do a single crochet like that. And now down here in this single crochet, so we're just going to skip these 2 double crochets, and we're going to be working in the single crochet. We're going to do a shell stitch increase. And now what we do with that is we work in the single crochet 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to do a chain of 1, and in the same single crochet we're going to work 3 more doubles. 1, 2, and 3, just like that. And now we're going to jump over here to the next shell, and we're going to do a single crochet into the middle stitch. So we're going to skip these 2 stitches, and in the middle one we're going to single crochet like that, and then we're going to skip these 2, and then we'll be down here at the single crochet, and we're going to do this shell increase again. So in the single crochet we're going to work 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to chain 1, and we're going to go back into the same stitch and work 3 more double crochets. There's 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to single crochet into the middle of the next shell, so we skip these 2 stitches and single crochet right there, which will be the middle, and then we're going to skip these 2 stitches, and then we'll be at that single crochet, and we're going to work the shell increase right here in this single crochet. So we're going to work 3 doubles. There's 1, 2, and 3, chain 1, and work 3 more doubles into the same stitch. And now we're going to work a single crochet into the middle of the next shell. So we're skipping 2 stitches, and the next one will be the middle stitch of the shell. And then we're going to skip 2 stitches again, and we'll be down here at the single crochet, and we want to work this shell increase into this single crochet. So 3 doubles. My comb keeps getting caught on my chair. 2, 3, a chain 1, and 3 more doubles. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to slip stitch into our first single crochet over here, not the chain 1 that we did, but the first single crochet. So we skip this right here and single crochet, or slip stitch into that first single crochet. Now what, it looks a little square, and that's fine, but what you'll have is 4 of these shell increases this time. You can sew up this circle later too. I noticed mine's kind of big, but I'll sew it up later. Okay, now for row or round 3, what we're going to do is, since this is a shell increase, we're actually going to say that these 3 stitches are 1 shell, and these 3 stitches are 1 shell. That's how we're going to do the increase. So we're going to slip stitch over to the middle shell, or the middle stitch of these 3 stitches. So what we're going to do is slip stitch once and twice, and now we're going to be into the middle of these 3 stitches, and we're going to chain 1 and go back into that same stitch and single crochet. Now we're going to do a regular shell, 5 double crochets through this chain 1 space. So 5 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're going to single crochet into the middle of these 3 shells. So we're skipping this one and single crochet into the middle of these 3 double crochets. I'm sorry, I said shells. We're going to single crochet into the middle one of these 3 doubles. So we skip this one and single crochet into the next, just like that. And now we're going to skip one, and right here is the single crochet, and we're just going to do a regular shell into that single crochet. So 5 double crochets into it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're just going to kind of repeat this all the way around now. Okay, these 3 double crochets of this shell increase, we're going to single crochet into the middle one. So we skip this one and single crochet into the next. And now we're going to do a regular shell into the chain 1 space. So 5 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're going to single crochet into the middle of these 3 double crochets. So we skip this one and single crochet into the next. And then we're going to skip the next one, and the next stitch will be the single crochet, and we're going to do a regular shell into that. So 5 double crochets into that single crochet. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And again, we're just going to repeat. We're going to single crochet into the middle stitch of these 3 double crochets. So we're skipping this one and single crocheting into this one, which will be the middle. And then we're going to put 5 double crochets through the chain 1 space. So shell through the chain 1 space. And now we're going to single crochet into the middle of these 3. So we skip one and single crochet into the next. And then we're going to skip one and shell right here into this single crochet. So 5 doubles. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into the middle of these 3, skip one and single crochet. That'll be the middle one. And then we're going to shell into the chain 1 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip one and single crochet into the next, which will be the middle of those 3. And then we're going to shell right here into this last single crochet, just a regular shell. 1. It's kind of hard to see it because we slip stitched into it, but it's there. You'll see it. 2. 3, 4, 5, and now we're going to end round 3 with a slip stitch into our first single crochet, not the chain 1 but the first single crochet, just like that. And now you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shells at the round 3. Okay, for round 4 we're just going to do a regular row. We're not going to increase this round. So we're going to slip stitch over to the middle stitch of the first shell. So we slip stitch 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to chain 1 and single crochet right back into that same stitch. And now we're going to skip these 2, and then we'll be at that single crochet. We're just going to shell, regular shell into that single crochet. So 5 doubles. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're going to single crochet into the middle of the next shell. So if we skip 2, and single crochet into the next, that'll be the middle one. And then we're going to skip 2, and then we'll be at that single crochet. Just go ahead and shell into that single crochet. Okay, now we're going to single crochet into the middle of the next shell. So if we skip 2 and we single crochet in the next, that'll be the middle. And then we'll skip 2 again, and that'll be the single crochet, and we're just going to shell into it. And now we're just going to repeat this all the way around until we get back to the beginning. And when you get back to the beginning, you still should have 8 shells. Single crochet into the middle of the next shell, and shell into the next single crochet. So just repeat this until you get back around to the beginning. Okay, when you make it back around and you have your 8 shells, you just want to slip stitch into your first single crochet, and that'll end round 4. Now round 5, we're going to do increasing shells again. So we're going to start off by slip stitching up to the middle of the first shell, just like we would before. 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to chain 1 and go back into that same stitch and single crochet. Now, we're going to skip these 2. Into this next single crochet, we're going to do the increase. So increase shell, that's where we do 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to go back in it and do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to single crochet into the center of the next shell. So we skip these 2, and the next one we single crochet will be the center. And then we'll skip these 2 stitches, then we'll be at the single crochet. We're just going to do a regular shell into this single crochet. So just 5 double crochets. So we're going to do the increase in every other shell is going to be the increase. That, and then single crochet into the center of the next shell. So skip these 2, and then this next one will be the center. And then we're going to do the shell increase right down here into this next single crochet. So we're going to do 3 doubles, a chain of 1, and 3 more double crochets. And then we're going to single crochet into the center of the next shell. So if you skip 2 and single crochet into the next, it will be the center. And then we're going to do the shell, regular shell, into the next single crochet down here. So just do 5 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. and then single crochet into the center of the next shell, and then we'll do the shell increase down here into the next single crochet. So 3 doubles, chain 1, and then 3 more doubles into that same space. Single crochet into the middle of the next shell, and then a regular shell into the next single crochet. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then single crochet into the middle of the next shell, and shell increase into the next single crochet. So 3 doubles, chain 1, and 3 more doubles. Single crochet into the middle of the next shell, and a regular shell right here into the last single crochet. Remember, it's kind of, that last single crochet is kind of always hard to see because we've slip stitched into it, but and then you're going to end with a slip stitch into your first single crochet over here. Now you still should have 8 shells, but 4 of them will be the regular ones, and then you'll have 4 will be the increased ones, and that will end round 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now we're going to start again on round 6. Now this is going to be the increased shell, so we have to put a single crochet in the middle of these 3. So we're going to slip stitch 2 times to get over to that middle stitch, and we're going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet right back into it. And now we're going to put a regular shell right here into the chain 1 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we're going to single crochet into the middle of these 3. So we're just going to skip this one and single crochet here. Okay, and then skip this one, and we'll be here at a single crochet. We're going to put a regular shell into that single crochet, so 5 double crochets. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now this one was not an increase, so we have to single crochet into the middle of it. So we'll be, if we skip 2 this time, we'll be in the middle of this shell. So single crochet right there into the middle of it. And then if we skip 2 again, we'll be at the single crochet, and we're just going to put a regular shell into this single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now this one was the shell increase, so we have to single crochet in the middle of these 3 stitches. So we skip 1 and we single crochet into the next, which will be the middle, and now we're going to do a regular shell through the chain 1 space, so 5 double crochets, and these 3 again we want to skip one and single crochet into the middle. So if we skip this one and single crochet in the next, that'll be the middle. And then we'll have one left to skip before we hit our next single crochet, and we'll just put a regular shell into that single crochet. Okay, now this is a regular shell, so we have to single crochet in the middle of it, so we have to skip 2 this time since it's a regular shell. If we skip the 2, we'll be in the middle of it. So single crochet into the middle of that regular shell. And then we'll skip these and we'll be at that, skip these 2 of the shell and we'll be at the single crochet. Just put a regular shell into that single crochet. Okay, and now we're at the shell increase again. So we have to get into single crochet in the middle of these 3 doubles. So not this one, but this one right here will be the middle. And then we shell in the chain 1 space, just the regular shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then single crochet in the middle of these 3. So if we skip this one, we single crochet into the next. And now if we skip this one, we'll be at the single crochet. We're just going to shell into that single crochet, just a regular shell, so 5 doubles. And right here is a regular shell. So we need to single crochet into the center of it. So for the regular shell, we always skip the first 2 and single crochet into the next, like that. And then we'll skip these 2 and we'll be at the single crochet, and we just put a regular shell into the single crochet. So we're just going to repeat this all the way around. I guess I'm almost all the way to the end, I think, so I'll just keep going. This is my regular, or this is my shell increase. So I have to single crochet in the middle of these 3, shell into the chain 1 space, regular shell, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, single crochet into the middle of these 3, the middle 1, and regular shell into this single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is the regular shell, so we single crochet into the middle of that one, and then we do a regular shell right down here into our last single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh. And then we're going to end round 6 with a slip stitch into our first single crochet. Not the chain 1, but the first single crochet. Now you should have 12 shells at the end of this round, and it don't really look that round, but that's fine. It'll look normal once you get more rows going. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now round 7 through 13 is all going to be worked the same. It's going to be no more increases. It's going to start bringing the hat down and making it look more like a hat. So what we're going to do is we're going to start every round now, round 7, slip stitching over to the middle of our first shell. So you guys slip stitch 3 times, and then we'll chain 1, and we'll go back in and single crochet into that same stitch. And then we will shell right here into the first single crochet. So 5 doubles. And then we will single crochet into the middle of this shell. So yours is skipping 2, and the third one will be the middle. And then if we skip these 2, we'll be at the single crochet. So we just put a regular shell into the single crochet. So no more increases anymore, not until we get to the brim anyways. Single crochet into the middle of the next shell, and shell into the next single crochet. Single crochet into the middle of the next shell, and shell into the next single crochet. And we're going to repeat this all the way around till we get back to the beginning. And you should have 12 shells still when you make it back around. Okay, when you make it all the way around and you got your 12 shells, you just want to end with a slip stitch into your first single crochet. And that'll end round 7. And you just want to repeat round 7 for a total of 13 rounds. So remember, you just slip stitch over here to your the middle of your first shell, and chain 1 and single crochet, and shell into this single crochet, single crochet in the middle of this shell, shell into this single crochet. So we just repeat round 7 till you get a total of 13 rounds, and then we'll start the brim. And it's okay if it looks a little funny now. It'll look better later, I promise. Okay, once you get your 13 total rows, starting from the top all the way down, now we're going to make the brim of the hat, still using the shell stitch, but we're going to do increases again. So I just slip stitched in there to into my first single crochet. So now I'm going to slip stitch over to my middle stitch of this shell right here, just like we normally do. So there's 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to chain 1 and go back into it and single crochet. Now I'm going to jump over here to this single crochet, and I'm going to do a shell stitch increase. So that's where we do 3 into the single crochet, 3 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to single crochet into the middle stitch of this shell. So skip these 2 and single crochet right there into the middle. That. Now in this single crochet here, I'm just going to do a regular shell. So I'm going to put 5 double crochets into it. There's 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I'm just going to kind of repeat what I just did. So I'm going to skip these 2 and a single crochet into the middle of the shell. And now this single crochet is going to be a shell increase. So I'm going to go right into it and do 3 double crochets. A chain of 1 and 3 more double crochets. Like that. And then I'm going to skip the next 2 here and single crochet into the middle of the next shell. And then this single crochet down here is just going to be a regular shell. So 5 single crochets in that stitch. And I'm just going to repeat this all the way around. So skip these two and single crochet into the middle of the next shell. And then you just, down here in this single crochet, it's going to be the shell increase. So it's going to be 3 doubles. A chain 1 and 3 more doubles. And then you skip these 2, single crochet into the middle of the next shell. And then right here in the single crochet, we skip these 2 in the single crochet down here. This is going to be a regular shell. So it's just increasing every other shell. So I'm just going to repeat this all the way around until I get back to the beginning. Five, single crochet here in the middle, and then the next one, next shell down here on the single crochet will be the increase. Just like that, and just go ahead and repeat that until you get all the way back around. Okay, when you make it around, you still should have 12 shells, but this time 6 of them will be the regular shells and 6 of them will be the increased shells. So my last one I did was just a regular shell of 5 into that last stitch, and now I'm going to end by slip stitching into my first single crochet like that. Yeah. Now since this is an increased shell, what we're going to do is slip stitch over to the middle of these 3. So you just got to slip stitch 1, 2, and that's where we're going to start, the middle of these 3, because this is the increase. So we're going to chain 1 and go back into that same stitch and single crochet. And now in the chain 1 space, we're just going to do a regular shell, 5 double crochets into that chain 1 space, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're going to single crochet into the middle stitch of these 3. So right here we just skip that 1, skipping this stitch and single crocheting into the middle like that. And now right down here in this single crochet, we're going to do a regular shell. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now right here is a regular shell, so we're going to single crochet into the middle stitch of that. So we'll skip these 2 and single crochet into the middle. And now we're gonna, down here at the single crochet, we're gonna do a regular shell. So we skip these 2 right here in the single crochet, 5 double crochets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now right here is where we'd have a shell increase, so we got to just skip 1 this time and single crochet into the middle of these 3 like that. And then we're going to do a regular shell, 5 double crochets through the chain space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to do a single crochet into the middle of these 3. So we're just skipping this one right here and single crocheting right here like that. And then we're going to skip this one, and right here is the single crochet. We're just going to do a regular shell right into that single crochet. So 5 doubles. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is a regular shell, so we're just going to do a single crochet right in the middle of it. So we skip these 2 stitches, single crochet in the middle, and then right here down here at the single crochet, we're skipping these 2 stitches and then the single crochet, we're going to do a regular shell stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're at one of our increases again. So that is where we just skip 1 and single crochet into the middle of these 3. And then we do a regular shell stitch through the chain space, so 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to skip this one and do a single crochet into the middle of these 3. And then we're going to skip this one and it will be at the single crochet, and we're just going to do a regular shell into that single crochet, so 5 doubles. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is a regular shell, so again we're going to single crochet into the middle of it like that. And then down here at this single crochet we do a regular shell, 5 double crochets, and then we're just kind of repeating this pattern all the way around. And this is a shell increase here, so we're gonna single crochet in the middle stitch of these 3, and then we're going to do a regular shell in the chain 1 space, and then we're going to single crochet into the middle of these 3, like that. And then this next single crochet down here is a regular shell. So we're just going to repeat this until we get back to the beginning. This is just a regular shell, so we single crochet into the middle of it, and then right down here at the single crochet is a regular shell. And then this is the increase one, so we single crochet into the middle of these 3, regular shell in the chain 1 space, single crochet into the middle of these 3, and then the single crochet right down here is a regular shell. So I'm going to repeat this until I get back to the beginning. Okay, when you make it all the way around, you should have 18 shells now. And we're just going to go ahead and slip stitch into our first single crochet. And now we're not going to increase anymore or anything. So we're just going to slip stitch over to our middle stitch here of this first shell, just like we were normally doing. And we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet right back into that same stitch. Okay, then we're going to skip 2 here, and right here at this single crochet we're just going to do a regular shell. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we will single crochet into the middle of this shell, and then we'll do a shell in that chain 1 right here, regular shell, so 5 doubles. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single crochet into the middle of this shell, and shell into the next single crochet. Single crochet into the middle of the next shell, and shell into the next single crochet. And we're just going to repeat this all the way around, and you still should have 18 shells when you get back around to the beginning. I got there 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and single crochet into the middle of this shell, and shell into the next single crochet. Okay, once you made it all the way around, you still should have your 18 shells. Now what I'm going to do is this, I'm going to go around again, just repeating that last row. And actually you can make the brim now, you can try it on and make it as long or as short as you want. So if you try it on now and you like where it's at, that's fine. You can just stop right now and hide all your tails. I'm going to go around again and make it a little bit longer, just one more time. And if you want to do it more than one, that's completely up to you. All we're going to do is repeat the row that we just did. So I just ended and slip stitch there in my first single crochet. So now I'm going to slip stitch over here to this middle shell, just like normal, just like we usually do. And I'm going to chain 1 and single crochet back into that same stitch, and I'm going to shell right here in this single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then single crochet into the middle of this next shell, shell into the next single crochet. So we're just repeating the row that we just did. And remember, you can try it on and you can do your brim as long or as short as you want. This is going to be my last row, I think. And then single crochet into the middle of your next shell, and shell in your next single crochet. So you just repeat this all the way around, and you still should have 18 shells at the end of this round. Okay, once you get done with that last row, remember you can do more if you want your brim longer. That's up to you. But just go ahead and slip stitch into your first single crochet, and I'm going to tie off now. And just hide that tail, and then you're finished. So that's it. That's all there is to it. I guess it looks complicated, but I don't think it's very complicated. I think it turned out pretty nice. I tried it on my mannequin. She wears it quite nicely, so she'll be the one wearing it. No, I usually don't wear the stuff I make, but I'll probably give it to my sister or somebody. But if you make this or anything else, I'd really like to see a picture of it. You could also accessorize it. You know, you could put a ribbon around it or put a flower on it, whatever you wanted to do. But if you make this, anything else, you can post it on the Bagoday Crochet Facebook page. I'll put a link to that below in the description box. You can probably find a pattern for this on Etsy. I'll put a link to that below too. And don't forget to check me out on Pinterest and Twitter and Instagram. I'll put the links to all that stuff below. And until next time, have a good day.